Troglodytes, welcome back to another episode of Trogly's Guitars. Today we have a fairly rare model. This is one I've always had on a checklist to own and play, and this is the Les Paul KM. This was one made in the very late 70s, 78, 79, and they are basically Les Paul standards that came stock with uncovered double cream T-top pickups made in the Kalamazoo factory. And if I remember the lore correctly, this was the Kalamazoo plant showing up the Nashville newbies of how to make a Les Paul standard. This one is in terrific condition. The worst of it, I accidentally put on it while I was working on it a little bit. There's a little scratch on the side, but other than that, it is a very clean example. I would consider this collector's grade. I mean, if you want a 100% mint example, this is not it, but it is very close, very lightly aged. So let's take a look here. As you can see, it has the larger peg head of the late 70s. So if you're used to the smaller one, it might look a little funky to you. But the Gibson logo is nice and white yet. It has aged very little, if any at all. You've got some very light, faint marks from string changes, but nothing that'll really show up too well, as you can see in the video here. You got your Les Paul KM right there. Once again, that stands for Kalamazoo. Now, this guitar does not look like it's been played very much at all. Alright, that purple stuff was a piece of taffy. So, very light colored board. It has not been played on, doesn't have the oils to make it darker. The inlays look brand new. This guitar really reminds me of my mint condition Spotlight Special I used to own. It just, these basically new old stock looking fretboards have a very distinct look to them. Now, as you can see on the body, there are a few light marks. I would say most of these light picking marks, like these guys here, with a good polishing job, you could probably erase at least 90% of all this, if not more. So this is one area. I tried cleaning it, it didn't come off. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it definitely looks like something on the finish. But as you can see, you've got a few very light nicks and dings and some light picking scratches. So it was very lightly played. When this guitar came to me, it did have a different pickup in the bridge. I took it out and put the original one back in. So that's pretty much the only thing in the wiring harness that's been touched, was putting the pickup back in. One thing I will note is it looks like that other pickup might have been in here for a while. There is a very, very, very slight aging difference between the two pickups. I only mention it just to be very thorough here. I mean, unless you're really looking at it and comparing, they look very similar. Another thing I will mention is I'm not 100% sure on the originality of this pickguard. It looks very close, it looks the part, it plays the part, but the spacing here, not exactly what I expected. Usually it's a little bit more tight, but you know, sometimes they were cut differently. So I will go ahead and say that might be replaced, but it looks very correct. Now the back of the guitar is a gorgeous brown color. I'll take a look here. Original vintage Grover tuners. This is a 79, 219th day of the year, 72nd in production. Vertical made in USA stamp showing it's Kalamazoo made. You do have a little ding here on the back of the headstock, nothing too bad. No breaks, cracks, or repairs to report. And you got some light, just handling wear, and it looks like a tiny little, maybe a tiny little ding there. Looks like it might rub off, so it might not be a ding. The back is very clean. You do have some very light dings and indentations, but until you get it in the light, you really don't see it. I'm not quite sure what happened here. It is raised up. It kind of feels like dried hot glue. I tried my best to get that off, and I was unsuccessful. However, that doesn't mean you won't be successful in it. Or you could replace it pretty easily. But you got a few dings around the edges, but nothing too bad. And the worst of it that I'm pretty sure I did as I was putting the original pickup back in is a scratch here on the end. I had an alligator clip kind of resting on my workbench. But other than that, the sides are in pretty good shape. I would definitely say this is an excellent condition guitar for being from 1979. It does come with a slightly later case. A Gibson chainsaw, 3rd generation. This would have originally either came with a standard looking case, a Gen 2 chainsaw, or a Gen 3, depending on when it sold. So it is error correct, but not 100% original here. This case is in good shape. The only thing to mention is while all the latches here are present, at the back here, as you can see, this is actually pulling away from the case. So while the latch does work, it won't work while it's like that. So these things are famous for the back latches breaking off anyways. They still function just fine. And the last thing here. Yeah, here it is. There is a ding up there, which isn't too bad, but it is there, so that's good to know. So, if you think you might be interested in owning this very rare, unique Les Paul Standard from 1979, feel free to contact me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Troglys, Trogoys. And don't forget to check out the reverb ad and subscribe for more guitars. Eventually, one day, I'll get a playing tour of these, and hopefully that will come soon. So once again, I thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. See you later, troglodytes. Bye.